How would you survive in a place where the temperature can drop below freezing and then rise to summer heat in the very same landscape, where nights can numb the body and days can quietly push it to the opposite extreme? Most animals avoid places like this. Some migrate, others simply don't make it. But one bird stays. It doesn't escape the cold. It doesn't flee the heat. It lives right at the center of that swing, day after day, season after season. No shelter, no technology, no second chances. Just a small body exposed to one of the most unstable climates on Earth. So how is that even possible? What allows a bird to remain active where temperatures can change by nearly 50 degrees? That's the question behind this story. If you enjoy calm, science-based documentaries about nature and survival, take a moment to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to follow this journey. Now let's begin where this bird actually lives. High above sea level, the landscape looks almost empty. Wide plateaus, thin air, long horizons shaped by wind and rock. This is a place where shade is rare and shelter is unreliable. Snow can linger in shallow depressions, even when the sun feels strong. A few steps away, the ground is dry, exposed, and warm to the touch. During the night, heat escapes quickly into the open sky. Temperatures drop fast. By morning, frost can still cling to the soil. But when the sun rises higher, everything changes. Light reflects off rock and dust. The air warms, and the same terrain that froze hours before begins to radiate heat. Most animals here live cautiously. They limit movement. They retreat underground. They time their activity carefully, and yet this bird is visible, not hidden, not dormant, standing out in the open, scanning the ground, moving with purpose. It does not belong to one temperature. It belongs to the transition itself. And that is what makes this environment such a challenge. Not the cold alone, not the heat alone, but the constant shift between the two. In environments like this, movement is usually the rule. When temperatures swing too far, animals leave. Birds migrate. Mammals descend to lower ground. Life follows stability whenever it can find it. But this bird stays. Throughout the year, it remains on the high plateau, exposed to the same cycles of cold nights and warmer days. There is no seasonal escape, no long journey to softer climates. Instead, its daily life unfolds right where conditions shift the most. At sunrise, it can be seen walking slowly across open ground, picking its way between stones and patches of snow. As the day warms, it continues feeding, alert but unhurried. When evening approaches, it doesn't vanish underground or retreat into deep cover. It simply adjusts. This choice alone is unusual. Staying means facing unpredictability head-on. The temperature may feel tolerable one hour and punishing the next. Wind can amplify cold. Direct sunlight can suddenly intensify heat. Yet the bird remains active across these changes, as if the environment were not divided into extremes, but connected by a narrow survivable path. And that raises a deeper question. If migration isn't the solution here, what is? What defines this place is not a single extreme, but the speed at which everything changes. Cold does not fade slowly. It releases its grip suddenly, and heat doesn't arrive gently. It builds fast, carried by altitude, sunlight, and bare ground. For most animals, this creates a timing problem. Be active too early, and the cold drains energy. Wait too long, and the heat becomes its own challenge. But this bird moves through the narrow window between those states. It forages when the ground begins to soften, but before heat peaks. It pauses when the sun is strongest, then resumes as temperatures settle again. Its daily rhythm is shaped not by comfort, but by precision. From a distance, its behavior looks ordinary. No dramatic movements, no visible struggle, yet nothing here is forgiving. Every step, every pause, every moment of exposure happens under conditions that shift hour by hour. What worked yesterday may not work tomorrow. What feels tolerable now may become dangerous by nightfall. This is not a place that rewards strength alone. It rewards control. And that control doesn't come from the landscape. It comes from the bird itself. Understanding how it manages that balance is where the real story begins. To survive here, behavior alone isn't enough. The challenge goes deeper, into the body itself. This bird lives under constant thermal pressure. Cold demands energy to stay warm. Heat demands control to avoid overheating. Both pull in opposite directions. Unlike mammals, birds maintain a high internal temperature. That makes them efficient, but also vulnerable. Losing too much heat is dangerous. Holding too much is just as risky. In this environment, the margin for error is thin. The bird's body responds by carefully regulating how heat moves, not just how much it produces. Blood flow shifts subtly. Exposure is managed moment by moment. Feathers don't act as a fixed blanket, but as a flexible barrier that can trap warmth or release it when needed. Nothing about this is dramatic. There's no single switch being flipped. Instead, it's a continuous adjustment happening quietly beneath the surface, allowing the bird to remain active while temperatures swing far beyond what most animals could tolerate. The climate keeps changing, the body keeps answering, and that balance is only the beginning. At first glance, feathers look simple, light, soft, protective, but in an environment like this, they become something far more dynamic. For this bird, feathers are not just insulation against cold. They are tools for control. When temperatures drop, the bird can subtly adjust how its feathers sit against the body. Tiny muscles lift them slightly, trapping pockets of air close to the skin. That trapped air slows heat loss, creating a buffer against the cold night air. As conditions warm, that same structure changes. Feathers settle, airflow increases. Excess heat escapes more easily. This flexibility allows the bird to fine-tune its exposure without changing location. It doesn't need to find shelter every time conditions shift. Its body carries part of that shelter with it. Even the distribution of feathers matters. Denser coverage protects critical areas, while other regions allow for controlled heat release. The result is not perfect comfort, but stability, enough to keep internal systems functioning within safe limits. In a place defined by rapid change, that subtle control makes the difference between enduring the swing and being overwhelmed by it. In an environment like this, survival isn't measured only in temperature. It's measured in energy. Cold drains it quickly. Heat increases the cost of movement. Every mistake becomes expensive. This bird cannot afford to waste fuel. Its feeding strategy reflects that pressure. Rather than chasing rare, high-risk opportunities, it focuses on steady, predictable sources of food scattered across the ground. Seeds, shoots, small plant material, items that don't require bursts of speed or prolonged exposure. Movement stays efficient. No unnecessary flights, no long pursuits. Walking is favored over flying whenever possible. Staying grounded reduces energy loss and keeps body temperature more stable. Even posture plays a role, minimizing surface area when conditions are harsh. During colder periods, feeding intensity increases just enough to compensate for heat loss. When warmth rises, activity becomes more selective, conserving energy before it turns into stress. Nothing here is about abundance. It's about balance. The bird doesn't try to outrun the environment, it budgets for it, and that careful accounting is what allows it to face temperature swings that would quickly exhaust most other animals. Not all adaptations are hidden inside the body. Some are written in behavior. This bird uses the landscape itself as a tool. A small shift in position can mean the difference between losing heat and conserving it. When temperatures are low, it seeks areas that trap warmth, slopes angled toward the sun, rock faces that absorb and slowly release heat, shallow depressions sheltered from wind. These choices aren't dramatic, but they are deliberate. As the day warms, those same locations can become liabilities. So the bird moves again. Shade, even minimal shade, becomes valuable. Open ground is avoided during peak heat. Activity slows, not because the bird is weak, but because restraint is safer than effort. These decisions happen constantly, not once a day, not seasonally, but hour by hour. The bird is not reacting to extremes after they arrive. It is anticipating them. In a climate that never settles, behavior becomes a kind of invisible insulation, one that adjusts faster than feathers or physiology ever could. And this constant awareness is what allows the bird to remain present in a place defined by instability. In extreme environments, size becomes a delicate compromise. A body that is too small loses heat too quickly. A body that is too large struggles to release excess warmth. This bird sits carefully between those limits. Its compact shape reduces exposed surface area, slowing heat loss during cold periods. At the same time, it is not so massive that cooling becomes impossible when temperatures rise. The balance is subtle, but critical. Even the bird's proportions play a role. Shorter extremities limit heat escape in freezing conditions. A rounded body shape helps retain warmth when the air thins and the wind picks up. But size alone isn't the solution. It works only because it's paired with constant adjustment. When cold dominates, the bird appears fuller, more compact. When warmth increases, posture shifts, feathers relax, and the body opens slightly to release heat. What looks like stillness is actually fine control. In a place where the climate swings hard in both directions, survival favors neither the smallest nor the largest, but the most precisely balanced. What makes this bird truly remarkable is not a single trait, but the absence of an alternative. There is no backup habitat waiting nearby, no lower valley with stable temperatures, no seasonal refuge. Over time, this environment shaped the bird not to flee extremes, but to endure them. Generation after generation, individuals that managed heat more precisely, conserved energy more efficiently, and made better micro-decisions were the ones that survived long enough to reproduce. Small advantages accumulated. Gradually, tolerance replaced avoidance. This is evolution under constant pressure. The climate doesn't test the bird once a year. It tests it every day. That relentless selection leaves little room for error, but it also produces resilience that feels almost effortless when observed from the outside. The bird isn't adapted to cold alone, or heat alone. It's adapted to instability itself. And that may be the most demanding environment of all. In places where temperatures swing by nearly 50 degrees, survival isn't dramatic. It's quiet, constant, unforgiving. This bird doesn't conquer the environment. It doesn't dominate it. It simply stays, adjusting, responding, enduring. What looks calm from a distance is actually a life built on precision. Every movement timed, every pause measured, every decision shaped by a climate that never settles. The extremes never disappear. Cold and heat continue to trade places, day after day. And still, the bird remains. Not because the environment became easier, but because evolution shaped a body and a behavior capable of meeting change without fleeing from it. If you enjoyed this journey into extreme survival, stay with the channel. Like the video, share your thoughts below, and subscribe to continue exploring the quiet strategies life uses to persist at the very edge.